Okay, friends, we're continuing Pirkei Avos with the commentary of Rabbeinu Yona. We're learning Parak Beis Mishnah Tes. Amar Lohem, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai said to his 5 students, who were Rabbi Elazar ben Horkinas, Rabbi Shua ben Chananya, Rabbi Yossi HaKoyen, Rabbi Shimon Nesanel, and Rabbi Elazar ben Arach. He says to them, go out and see Eza hi derech yeshara sheyidbak baha adam. What is the straight path that a person should cling to? Rabbi Elazar Omer ayin toiva. Rabbi Elazar says a good eye. Rabbi Shua Omer, Rabbi Shua says chaver toiv, a good friend. Rabbi Yossi Omer shachein toiv. Rabbi Yossi says a good neighbor. Rabbi Shimon Omer, Rabbi Shimon says, Harayas hanoilad, one who sees the future. Rabbi Elazar Omer, leiv toiv, a good heart. Amar lahem, he said to them, Roya ani estivei Rabbi Elazar ben Arach. I see, more correct, the words of Rabbi Elazar ben Arach. Shebechlal devarav devrechem, that included in his words is what you say. He basically, what he says encompasses everything that you say. Let's see Rabbeinu Yona. Amar lahem, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai l'talmidav, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai said to his students, go out and see what is the straight path that a person should cling to. Rabbi Elazar Omer ayin tov. Rabbi Elazar says a good eye. What does it mean, a good eye? A good eye is misha sameach b'chelkai, one who rejoices in his lot, someone who is happy with his lot in life. That is an ayin tova. Through the Middah of ayin tova, that will ensure that a person be on the right path. Rabbi Shua Omer, Rabbi Shua says, chaver tov, a good friend. Sheyidbak ha'adam ala chaver tov, that a person should cling to a good friend. Rabbi Yossi Omer, Rabbi Yossi says, shachein tov, a good neighbor. Why a good neighbor? Levakesh dira sheshcheineha tovim, to seek out a residence that the neighbors are good. Ki chevrasam tova, their association is good. V'hana asam meruba, and you get a lot of benefit. Bizman shehim tovim, if they're good people. Kach Parsha Rishonim Zachram Levracha. That's how the Rishonim explain this. But says Rabbi Meir ve'enoi derech yashar, it's not correct. A good neighbor is not seek out a residence that has good neighbors. Ki lefi divreim ayin toiva v'leiv toiv hem darm shabagufai. Because according to this explanation, a good eye and a good heart are characteristics in the person themselves. The chaver toiv, but a good friend, v'shachin tov, and a good neighbor, mishal achirim, is from outside, v'chutz migufai, outside of the body. So you can't say good friend and good neighbor is the way we think it means, because that's not similar at all to a good eye and a good heart. Because a good eye and a good heart are Middos in the body. A good friend and a good neighbor is outside the body. So how do we explain the Mishnah? Al ken yeshafar zos Mishnah davar al afnav. Therefore, the Mishnah should be explained in an appropriate way. Namely, ezu hi derech yeshar sheidbak ba'adam. What is the correct path that a person should cling to? B'chal hamidos hatoivos va'yesharos yesh adam lidavik behen. A person is supposed to cling to all good characteristics. Elazer roitz aloymar. What this Mishnah means to say is, Lihidavik b'midah achas liyo shalom ba. Which midah? Of course, a person should try to amass all the good middos: humility, generosity, gemilas chasadim, not being jealous, happy with one's lot. But what midah should a person excel in and become whole in? Ki toiv la'adam lechos ba'achas b'shleimus. It is good for a person to grab a hold of one Middah in perfection, and from there it would be easier to achieve all important characteristics. Meaning, instead of, you don't want to spread yourself too thin. If you try to acquire every single Middah, you're going to end up being missing in all of them. But if you put your emphasis on one Middah and you become a shalom in that one Middah, from there it will springboard, it will spill over to acquire all the good Middos. So, V'zeu she'amar Rabbi Lezer, this is what Rabbi Lezer meant, ayin tova. Ayin tova means, it doesn't mean be happy with your lot. Ayin tova is midas hanadivos, generosity. Shehi midah noel meshubachas. It is a very pleasant and praiseworthy midah. V'achar hayoyse b'tachlas hanadivos. And once you reach the epitome of generosity, al kapanim yasig al kol malas acheres, you will perforce acquire all the other mailos, ki machmas roichav libay, because of the expansiveness of your heart, ve'inoi hayaf, and your good eye, hoisa ilav hamidah azos, you will have this midah. Va'adam kazeh roi l'chol midah tova. Somebody like this, he is worthy of achieving every good midah. So ayin tova doesn't mean to be sameach b'chelkoi. Ayin tova means generosity. V'zehu shakasov. This is what the pasuk means in Mishlei. U'mechoinein anovim ashrav. One who is gracious to the humble, fortunate is he. Ratzon, meaning to say, sheho anovim him chen be'inav. If the humble find favor in his eyes, shanoisin lahem ba'ayin yafa, he gives to them with a good eye. Melashain ve'esafara yechainenu, similar to the pasuk in Tehillim, and its dust he is gracious to. Meaning sha'afar eretz yimsa chen be'inam, that the dust of the land finds favor in their eyes. So in other words, the first midah, the midah Rabbi Lezer emphasized, is the midah of generosity. Rabbi Shua Omer Chaver Tov. What does that mean? Ratzon sheyidbak el aderech hayashar zeh. Cling to this good path. V'nakal hu liyoisei chaver tov b'li leiv v'leiv leish echad asher li bay chafetz lahargal atzmai imai shetehi ruach achas noichei menu. You know what Rabbi Shua said? Follow and cling to this path. And if you cling to this path, it will be easy for you to be a good chaver, a wholehearted chaver to one person that you want to, that you desire, that you will find that you have pleasure from, and by doing so you will come to love all people. Meaning like this, the $1 million question that this Mishnah is addressing is, how does a person perfect his midas? Rabbi Lezer ben Horkina says, through the midah of generosity. Through generosity, by having an expansive spirit, then you will come to all midos tovos. By having generosity and giving in an expansive way to those who need it, that will influence you to all good midos. Rabbi Yeshua says, no, a better way to acquire midos tovos is take one person and be a good friend for them. If you're a good friend to one person and you help them whenever they need it, from there it will spill over that you will acquire midos tovos in all your interactions. Rabbi Yossi Omer shachin tov sheyia be'atzmai tovim kol shchinav. You should be good to all your neighbors. And once you're good to your neighbors, the 5, 6, 7, 8 people you're neighbors with, once you're a good neighbor to 5 people or to 8 people, it will be easy for you to love everyone in the world. And you will be wealthy in all good midas. Reb Shimon Omer, Haraya es hanoilad. The way to acquire all good midas tovos is shenoisein einav al kol drachav. You put your eyes on all of your ways and all of your actions, to try to foresee of the consequence and the outcome before it happens. If you see something that at first is beneficial and could come to a loss, you'll distance from it. And by doing this, you will never sin. Because you'll always calculate the benefit of your actions in commensurate with what loss it entails. Cling to that path. Always foresee the outcome. To think in the beginning what will be in the end. So far we have one path to acquire all good middos is generosity. One is be a good friend to one person. One is be a good neighbor. Reb Shimon says always think about the consequences. Rabbi Lezer ben Arach says Leiv Tov, a good heart. What does it mean, a Leiv Tov? Harav Moshe ben Maimon, the Rambam, Zechron Levracha Perosh, Shezois hi ma'alas tikun hamidos. This is the maila of fixing one's midos. Lefi shedei oisav shel adam neviyasan min alev. A person's opinions emanate from the heart. Uvizman shel libay tov, if one's heart is good, kol midosav yeshares v'dei oisav nechanis, and all of one's midos will be straight, and his attitudes will be correct. V'nimtza samech b'chalkai, he will turn out to be happy with his lot. U'mischaber ma'toivim, and cling to good people. Ve'inoi chafetz el b'davar sheish by tayelas. He'll only want something that has benefit, v'loi hefsid, and not any loss. V'chein kasav Rabbi Meir zechron levracha halevi. This is what the Rishonim say. Ve'emes ki adavar kein hu kedevreyam. It's true what the Rambam is saying, that middos emanate from the heart. But the explanation of the Mishnah is not reconciled according to his approach, and therefore Rabbeinu Yona has a different approach, what it means leiv tov. Al-kei nira lefaresh. Therefore it seems to explain, it would seem that we explain ki leiv tov roitza loymar. You know what the epitome of good middos is? You know what Middah will bring to all middos? Middas haratzon. The Middah of Ratzon. You know what the Middah of Ratzon is? Zeu hasavlan. Tolerance. She'enoi kitzar ruach. That you're not impatient. U'misrachik mimidas hakas. And you distance from anger. U'meishiv b'manarach. And you respond in a soft tone. Av kiyasuloi davara. Even if they do, you're harmed. Yizbalehu, you tolerate it. Ve'ein mar b'fiu, there's no bitterness in your mouth. Ki chikoi mamsakim v'kuloi machmadim, because your palate is all sweet and all desirous. In other words, according to Rabbeinu Yona, leiv tov is the Middah of Ratzon. The Middah of Ratzon is tolerance, not to be short-tempered, to distance from anger, to respond softly, to tolerate. Even if you're harmed, you don't speak back bitterly. And to this path, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai responded, Amar lohem roya ani divrei Rabbi Lezer ben Arach shebechlal dvarav divreichem. The Middah of Rabbi Lezer ben Arach, which is, according to Rabbeinu Yona, Ratzon, tolerance. Ki adam shemidah kazoy sheichenas beker by someone who the Middah of Ratzon resides in them. Toivu gam lachaveirav, he's good to his friends. V'lashcheinav, and his neighbors. U'lechol ha'olam kula, and to the whole world. Gam midas hanadivos yeshla, he also is generous. Ki min ha'gufa ha'lev misnadev l'vnei adam lachvayt b'chol chavtzeim lasus v'tzoynam. Because his body and his heart generously wants to help others with all of their needs. Kol shekain, if their heart and their body wants to help. Kol shekain she'isnadim mimamaynos, certainly they will want to donate with their money. V'chol midah toiva tishkain b'adam kazeh, every good quality will reside in such a person. Ki hachefetz, the Middah of Ratzon, davar gadol min ha'maisa, is even greater than action. The desire to tolerate and to want to help and to suffer insult is greater than action. Kihine b'mitzvahs pu'ulas ho'ivar melacha lavad hinekala la'asoisa. In the mitzvahs of the acts of the limbs is just a melacha. It's easy. Ach kishiyite neinav liboy sham kol hayamim lachshav machshavos lachat la'asois melachas Hashem eroiv hadveikos b'Hashem yisale hu elav hadavar ahu. But when a person focuses all his life to think thoughts, to want to do the Ratzon of Hashem and to want to do the Melechas of Hashem in Dveikus, that is the Middah that will encompass all Middos. And we'll see the converse, Bez Hashem, next time. Okay, I wish everyone a wonderful Shabbos, and you're welcome to join us on our Agar the Pirkei Shiur on Monday. Many Shiurim will be posted over Tisha B'Av. Please join us live even. We have an amazing Tisha B'Av program, a very meaningful program in our shul, 5:30 Peninsula. Everyone's cordially invited. If you're anywhere in the area, please join us. The Shachris Tisha B'Av morning is 9 a.m. The Kinnis program starts about 9:50, and it's also going to be streaming on Torah anytime. Okay, I wish you all a good Shabbos. Kol Tov.